of the best of mankind. We spread the word of Islam. Each hour in all of His power, each flower, each tree, everything that we see. Spread the word, oh man. Spread the word of Islam.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful, I greet you, my dear audience, in our Islamic way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be with you all. So far, we have been discussing the miraculous description of the glorious Qur'an to the successive development of the human embryo, from a single germ cell to a fertilized ovum, or what we call a gamete. Then passes through a leech-like stage, then a stage that looks like a gently chewed piece of flesh. After that, the creation of bones and the coverage of these bones with flesh, and immediately he becomes in the shape, or starts to take the shape of a human being. These stages have been fully described in Surah Al-Hajj, and then we come to other three verses in Surah Al-Mu'minun, verses number 12 to 14, and this is the 23rd chapter in the glorious Quran. These verses read, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُطْفَةً فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ ثُمَّ خَلَقْنَا النُّطْفَةَ عَلَقَةً فَخَلَقْنَا الْعَلَقَةَ مُضْغَةً فَخَلَقْنَا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. Man we did create from a quintessence of mud. Then we placed him as a tiny germ cell, the form of a tiny drop of fluid called the sperm, in a place of rest, firmly fixed. Then we made the sperm into a leech-like stage. Then that stage passes. Then we made out of that chewed piece of flesh bones and clothed the bones with flesh. Then we developed out of this another creation. So blessed be Allah, the best to create. When we start, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ, verily, we have created man from a quintessence of mud, an extraction of mud. Because man is not created from the totality of the mud, but from an extraction from that mud. And we said that this term can apply to both Adam and Eve, may Allah be pleased with them both, as well as to every one of their descendants. Simply because every one of us has inherited a tiny entity from the mud from which Adam and Eve, may Allah be pleased with them both, were created. Secondly, our bodies are actually built up from the earth of that planet. While we are in the wombs of our mothers, we feed on her blood, and her blood is derived from her food, and her food is physically derived from the minerals and compounds of the earth. When we are born, you are fed on her milk, and her milk is derived from her food, and her food is derived from the minerals and chemical compounds of the earth. When we stop breastfeeding, we start eating vegetables and fruits, as well as many of the dairy products, and all these are derived actually from the minerals and chemical compounds of the earth. So when the verse says, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ. Verily, we have created man from a quintessence of mud. This is absolutely true. ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُطْفَةً فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ. Then we have made this man a sperm in a very well preserved place. And if we see how the womb is beautifully preserved and protected by muscles and girdles of different kinds, we can really see one aspect of the marvels of creation in the protection of the fertilized ovum in the womb of the mother, and initially in preserving the genetic cells and genetic glands, whether in the male or in the female. ثم جعلنا النطفة في قرار مكين. We have made the genetic cells in a highly protected place. ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة. Then we moved from fertilized ovum to the leech-like stage. فخلقنا العلقة مضغة. Then we created from that leech-like stage, we created a stage that looks like gently it chewed piece of flesh. فخلقنا المضغة عظاما. Then we have created from that chewed piece of flesh bones. فكسونا العظام لحما. And we have clothed these bones with flesh. ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. And here again, then we have changed him into another creation. So glory be to Allah, or blessed be Allah, the best to create. And here again we see wonderful hint about the language. In Arabic, we use the letter fa for the succession with no loss of time, and use the letter thumma for the succession with a lapse of time. And look at the beauty of expression here, that all these stages are carried out very quickly. And that's why the letter of succession is the fa. And of course, between clothing the bones with flesh and changing the features of that embryo to the fetus stage, to the human stage, takes some time. And that's why the verse uses the letter thumma. And this is again a sign of the great precision in the glorious Qur'an. We move from this to another hint in the glorious Qur'an that came in Surah Al-Mursalat, chapter number 77, verses 20 to 23. These verses read, أَلَمْ نَخْلُقكُّم مِّن مَاءٍ مَهِينٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ إِلَى قَدَرٍ مَعْلُومٍ فَقَدَرْنَا فَنِعْمَ الْقَادِرُونَ. Have we not created you? And the address is to humanity at large. Have we not created you, mankind, from a fluid held despicable, which we placed in a place of rest, firmly fixed for a period of gestation, determined by Allah, or glory be to Him. For we do determine, for we are the best